Ramble.
Thank you to Away Travel and Honey for sponsoring today's episode of the podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to a very special episode of the TryPod. You have Eugene and Keith only from the Try Guys today.
That's right, and as always, we are joined by our podcast gremlin, Miles Bonsignore. What a special day.
Yeah, I think this is the first TryPod with just two of us.
Yeah, that's crazy. Everyone else is busy. They're too busy for you, viewers and listeners.
Well, that means we get to do something awesome, which is talk about things only us to enjoy.
Yeah, I guess the other guys might enjoy some of these things, but they don't enjoy these things to the extent that Eugene and I do.
So we geek out over this together. Mm-hmm. It's like how they geek out over fantasy football.
Yes.
Oh my God. When they talk fantasy football, Keith and I, our eyes glaze over and we just stare at each other from across the room.
It just seems fantasy football seems like something that you should just stress yourself out with every weekend. It doesn't seem fun. I never see them being happy about it. They're just like, oh man. I'm like, that seems unhappy. Yeah, it's a job. You're running a team.
But Zach especially has no interest in any sports. But he likes
football.
He likes watching football, but he doesn't want to play any sports.
No, he doesn't.
But
want
I guess
to
it's very different if you're a fan of a sport, versus if you want to play it.
Yeah, fantasy football is also like playing Risk, right?
Kind of, yeah. It's like gambling.
Yeah.
So I think it's really the core is that they want to gamble.
Oh, 100%.
Which I think both of you and I would probably not care about gambling in Vegas.
No, I'm never attracted to that. I mean,
really?
Look, your money can go so far in Vegas, and if you put it on a table, you're most likely going to lose it. Yeah. Or you could go buy there's delicious
so much food.
There's amazing shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's cool experiences.
Yep.
They have all the bullshit that's in every other tourist town. They have every tourist town's bullshit. So you could go buy a seashell. You go to a seashell store in Las Vegas. I guarantee you there are seashell stores in Las Vegas, and that is in the center of the desert.
Oh my God. Well, today we are going to talk about two of our favorite things, music.
And cartoons.
Music and cartoons. Mm-hmm. That's what we've decided are the Keith and Eugene top faves.
What musical have you seen recently? Have you seen a musical recently?
In theater or in film version?
Full on musical Broadway or touring musical.
Oh gosh, the last musical I've seen in person. Wow, I think it's been a while.
I know.
Did you see one in New York last time we were there?
The last time I was there, I wanted to go see Beetlejuice. But I couldn't, and I still have never seen the Harry Potter. I know it's not a musical, but the
Cursed Child.
The 18-hour Harry Potter.
The one where you have to go to two different shows.
Is that supposed to be good? I heard the book was not good.
I heard it's good if you're a big Harry Potter fan.
Okay,
just because it's servicing.
Which I think Harry Potter fan. I don't think there is I'm okay on Harry Potter. I think you love Harry Potter, or you've never experienced it.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you just have decided you don't like it, like how if you missed out on watching Star Wars, you just decide you don't like it because you don't want to watch 9 movies to find out if you like it.
But clearly you're a big Harry Potter fan then.
I'm a huge Harry Potter fan.
I love Harry Potter.
The only book series that I legitimately loved reading. I read a lot as a kid, but it always kind of felt like a chore. I felt like I was one of those readers that I would look to see how many pages were left in the chapter to see when I could stop, because my mom made us read at least 5 chapters a day in the summer so that we had
good for
to
her.
read.
That's great.
It was a good thing. I'm glad she did it. But it also turned reading into a chore for me.
Yeah.
So I gained this habit of looking ahead to see how much reading I had left, which didn't allow me to stay in the book. But Harry Potter was the only book that I never did that. I was always like, oh, I'm so gripped. It was also, I think the third book came out when I was 13. And that's when it started getting popular, and it was great because I read the first one, and I had 2 more books ready. And then as soon as I'd kind of finished them, the fourth was getting its steam, and I knew it was coming out, and it was the first book I looked forward to. You look forward to movies coming out and all that stuff, but I had never been oh, this book's about to come out, people. And the whole world was like, oh, this book's about to come out, people. And it was crazy. It was a phenomenon.
I remember when the last book came out, it was so exciting. I was flying through London and I specifically waited because I wanted to get my copy in London. Because I was like, it'll have the pound sign on it. Yeah. And I was like, that would be really cool. So I was like on a family trip and we stopped there and I like got my book and then we went on over. But
I definitely had no idea how to correctly pronounce Hermione.
No, me neither. Hermione.
Hermione.
I thought it was Hermione.
I was like, Hermione? Hermoine?
Hermoine?
In my brain, I was like, this is maybe right. I'm not sure. But I think it was one of the first books that I actually read more than twice each.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I was just so into it.
Oh, yeah. I've read all of them twice, and I've read the first 3 and 4 probably 3 and 4 times. Because when the 4th came out, I was like, I'll just reread them. And then when the 5th came out, I was like, I'll just reread them. Yeah. And then I didn't do that for the 6th and 7th. I only read the 7th once. Because I think
I
finished. You know?
A bit older then.
Yeah.
Maybe. What's your favorite book?
Oh my!
Well, my favorite book
looks like
my favorite book.
Your toaster strudel's ready.
I think. Oh man, that's tough. I love. Everyone loves 4. 4 is a blast, but I love 3.
Oh,
I think 3 is the best.
I think 3 with the time travel, which I always enjoy.
Yeah. You got time travel. You got serious black.
A little more darkness.
You've got like, oh shit, this is not just a flavor of the week situation. Like, well, it's like, oh, there's a lot of depth to the evil that is afoot. You hear about Azkaban. You hear about like Death Eaters more in this. Like, it just like the whole dark world is exposed.
And it's clearly happens and is picked up in the cinematic adaptations.
Yeah.
3 is when they get like Cuarón.
3 is the best movie by far.
And
by
it's
far.
so good.
Oh, yeah. And the whole like the Patronus and like the relationship to Harry and his parents and like it was just a really like it touches on everything.
Which book is where he hits puberty like hard
5.
and becomes like a dick?
5 is where
4 and 5.
4 and
4 is when he gets like
that's right.
no, 4 is like sexy time puberty.
Yeah.
Everyone's
but
like, ooh.
he's like,
but there's
nobody help me.
But there's one where he's like just literally.
Yeah. 5 he like Cho in the room requirement.
Well, that doesn't happen.
Whoa,
We
Miles.
don't talk about
Miles.
never.
No.
When I was a teenager, I read 5 over and over because I was the book is pretty horny. And like as a teenager, I was like,
I guess 4 and 5 were both very horny.
Cho. Like he's with Cho.
And you immediately jump to in the room of requirements.
He like hooks up with Cho hard in the room of
They
requirements.
make out.
They snog a bit.
Yeah.
I don't think they're snorkeling. I think they're snogging.
Wow.
I just coined that. I don't know if that's the British term.
That's the British term. Snorkeling.
I wish I could snorkel with Cho.
Our few British listeners will be thrilled. What else about 3 is good is that Malfoy gets punched in the face.
Yes.
Oh,
And
I love
you've
that.
been living with this pompous dick for 3 books, and you're like, man, this kid needs to get some fucking retribution because he really doesn't get it. Like, he's getting away with bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, Snape's letting him get away with bullshit. You're like, what the fuck is going on? This kid sucks. And then finally, Hermione punches him in the face, and you're like, yeah! Yeah!
Did you remember seeing the first film and thinking how casting did not align with what your imagination was? You know how that happens a lot? You're a big fan of a book series, and then, they cast, and I think the Harry Potter cast is incredible. But some of them, like, slightly, it's always like a rude awakening where you're like, oh, it's not exactly how I picture it.
Who is that for you?
Well, I think one of the main characters was probably Hermione, because in the books, if you remember, they described her for most of it until, I guess, the Yule Ball as, like, really bushy haired, which they drop after the first movie. They're like, okay, we're not going to tease Emma Watson's hair out anymore. And like she had like buck teeth, like her front teeth were like squirrely.
That's right.
She had, for lack of a better term, she looked smart. She was supposed to look like, oh, she's the really smart person who doesn't care about how she looks. She's just like all about, rocking them academics. And then you see Emma Watson, you're like, wow, she is so cute.
Yeah, she
was cute. And then the whole storyline, she had shitty teeth because her parents were dentists and they were making her do the...
Yes.
They were like, fine with magic, but you have to wear braces.
You have to wear braces.
They were like, you can use magic everywhere, but don't fuck with our business.
I love the most muggle thing JK could be like, she's going to have dentist parents.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow, Harry Potter's great.
I will say the worst casting I think of the movies is Ginny Weasley.
Really?
I feel like Ginny and Harry have like zero chemistry.
you're right.
There's no,
Yeah.
and Ginny's supposed to be, she's described in the books as like more beautiful than Hermione, like very charismatic, but like she's
she?
a kid. Well, when she grows up to be.
I think it's because
Harry start,
I wonder if it's because they knew each other so much as kids,
Right.
That maybe they just naturally didn't have chemistry because they're like siblings.
Oh,
At that
that's
point.
true because he was 10 and she was 7.
I mean, even hearing
Right.
Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe talking about that crazy 7th film scene where they kiss each other in Ron's like nightmare dream. You know, when they kiss each other and they're both like basically topless.
Yeah.
And they're both like, that was the most awkward thing to film.
Oh, that's very
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine like working with someone since you're 9 or 10 for over 10 years?
And reading the book and knowing.
Oh, you know what?
fuck,
I think
we're gonna have to.
you know what I think.
gonna happen.
I think everyone accepted all the casting. The one that I think made people most mad is when they had to replace Dumbledore
Well, he died.
because the original actor died.
Yeah.
And then the new actor was, he made it his own, which I respect, but
Yeah.
he came in with a much more like aggressive, like forward speaking tone. And I think a lot of people were very used to this like mythical Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And then he
he's so
became-
good.
He always thought like he did sound like he was
sounded
about
like
to die.
he was about to die. Always.
Come into my chamber.
Could you get me that pillowcase on the cabinet?
I need to pour my brain into the sink. My memory pensieve, is that what it was?
Pensieve, yeah.
That was cool.
That was
So
dope.
That was
cool.
a cool gimmick. I think that J.K. Rowling did a good job. Or is it Rowling? I can never.
I think
know.
it's rolling.
I think it's Rolling. I think it's. I remember reading once.
Rolling.
It's like rolling down.
I always said Rowling in my
Me
head.
too. But
yeah.
I think she did a good job accepting and working off of basic mythology of mystical creatures, and also inventing some really fun devices like the time turner. It's a simple way to do time travel, but it was a clever way to do it. The pensieve is like so interesting.
Yeah.
Just put your face in a bowl of water and then you like disappear into someone's memories.
Oh, and the visual effects of the inkiness and that being
cool.
established was really cool. I think
Yeah.
that's when David, who's the director? David Goyer took over. Someone took over, and it was like it's when 5 through the rest or
Yeah.
6 through the rest. But funny story. One of my friends went to karaoke one night, and who was there? But what's his name? Adult Tom Riddle from Chamber of Secrets, the actor.
Oh wow.
And then they all were drunk, and then they were telling him, do it, say it. And then they made him say on the mic, very much alive. Yeah.
That would be incredible.
Yeah. I was like nerding. I was like, where are you right now? I need to go where you are. Can you imagine just being karaoke with like someone who was in Harry Potter?
Wow.
I would force them to say some line.
Wow.
Yeah.
My friends and I's favorite line in Chicago was in the pensieve, in the memories of the trials, and you have the son of the minister who's being tried.
Yes.
And as he's walking away, he goes,
Yeah.
he's like looking his teeth like a lizard demon. And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
That's
That-
David Tennant.
That's David Tennant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look
amazing.
just
Crazy.
every single fucking like amazing British actor
Yeah.
who is world renowned is in the Harry Potter series
Yeah.
somewhere, even as like lizard tongued son for
Right.
like a hot second.
right.
Well, I guess we added another favorite Eugene Key thing, which was Harry Potter.
Love
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the next topic you guys love, Pokemon. You both, I was telling you right before we started rolling that there's a new Pokemon game. You don't know much about it, right?
Okay. First of all, let me just say that Pokemon Let's Go,
Oh,
I didn't play that
Yeah.
because it looked like bullshit. I don't want to catch 1,000 Pokemon to level up a Pokemon. I want to beat up Pokemon with my Pokemon
Yeah.
until they can barely breathe, and then I will capture them. I want to get them to 1 hit point. 1. I want them looking at me with blood pouring out of their face,
Jesus.
saying, please, please, Raichu. And then I want to throw a ball at it and
Yeah.
have its energy, because I'll know that it'll shake a few times, but it'll lock.
So your problem is you don't get to beat them Pokemon.
Yeah,
up.
so you do
Yeah.
get to battle, but like
That's not the same.
I don't like the candy. I think the candy device in Pokemon Go made sense that you catch a bunch, you trade them in, you level them up. But I wanted to have the normal experience of Pokemon.
Totally, that was my problem with it too. I played it when it first came out, and it was really fun. I was living in New York at the time, and it was cool because like as soon as it came out, I would be walking with like a pack of my friends, and you'd see people across the street
Pokemon
playing.
Go was huge,
Yeah.
and it was so weird to see people walking around with their head down and like pausing and knowing that everyone's playing the same game.
Yeah,
Especially around where you would, what was it called again? Where everyone had to go to
Pokestop
a
or a gym.
or where suddenly there was tons of Pokemon. Remember?
Oh yes, when you put a lure out, or or there
And
was
then
like
suddenly,
a thing happening.
A crowd would gather. That was an amazing time in, I think, our history, right?
It
that was
truly
like
was
a month of
it was
insanity.
The world playing a video game together.
The first
Kinda
true
crazy.
like sensation that involved augmented reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be historically significant, where everyone's like, oh, this is where people are like stuck in this virtual world, but they're all engaged, almost to the point where I'm sure people were probably hit by cars.
Yeah, there
were several.
people fell off cliffs. There was
Oh my God, why are you playing Pokemon Go in nature? Don't do that while you're
find
hiking.
the grass type.
Yeah, and Niantic, the
of
company,
course.
that is true. Niantic, the company, actually made a Harry Potter augmented reality
I haven't
game.
played it.
I haven't either.
It looks, wow.
It's called
Okay.
Wizards Unite.
Oh man, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I hear it's not as cool as Pokemon Go just
Yeah.
because Pokemon is very simple, so
Yeah.
it's very easy to adapt. Wizarding is not simple. Like, what do you do?
There must be a
You
whole.
don't catch
There might be like a whole
monsters.
narrative or something you have to follow too.
I don't know. I should give it a chance.
Hey, honey.
Hey, honey.
Hi, honey. Wow. You ever buy something online and you find out later that you missed a discount?
Honey, I have. Not because I use the Honey app because I'm a smart boy.
Yes, and it's a free browser add-on that can find you the best deals online.
The Honey app magically auto-applies the best deal to your cart at checkout.
That is so useful.
It's so good. It finds discounts and coupons across over 37,000 sites.
Amazon, Sephora, Best Buy, Nordstrom.
With Honey, you do not have to worry about missing a deal. You just shop like normal, and Honey handles the rest. I bought headphones the other day. Honey saved me $12.47. You know what I did with that money? I bought a sandwich. Now I'm listening to music and eating a sandwich. My life is great. Yours can be too, Honey.
So we were actually buying a big old purchase, hard drives for our office, which we use
They're expensive.
constantly, and they're expensive. But we were able to apply Honey to it. They couldn't find a discount at checkout, but they gave us Honey points. And in my email, I got a gift card for like $40 to Amazon.
Honey members have already saved more than $800 million. That's not bad for something that is completely free and takes just 2 clicks to install.
And it has over 100,000 plus 5-star reviews on the Google Chrome store.
Time Magazine calls Honey, quote, basically free money.
Free money.
Which it is. We all love free money. But you have nothing to lose.
Yes.
All it does is work for you. All Honey does is just like, I imagine these little worker bees, and they're just in there and they're like, I'm going to find you deals. And then when you don't install Honey, you're not letting them help you. They just want to help. They just want to save you money.
It's free to use and easy to install on your computer in just 2 clicks. So shop with confidence. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/tryguys. That's joinhoney.com/tryguys.
That's joinhoney.com/tryguys.
Honey, the smart shopping assistant that saves you time and money when you're shopping online. Yeah. But Let's Go was either Pikachu or Eevee, right?
So there was Pokemon
Both.
Let's Go Eevee, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. There's
Yeah.
2 versions.
Cutest Pokemon.
Cutest
out there.
I know.
Pokemon.
Well, you know what I didn't
It's
like
not-
is that I know that Eevee is one of the top 10 favorite world Pokemon.
Yeah.
But I don't like her being the star. I don't want to
either.
I don't want to call attention to that. She's everyone's like favorite, but she doesn't need the limelight like Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's just there. We all know she's great.
So much potential.
So much potential.
So much potential.
So much potential.
Yeah,
she
you
could be
know,
anything.
She could be
Yeah.
anything she
Yeah.
wants.
I just special shout out to Ninetales, the hottest Pokemon
Oh,
to
hell
ever
yeah.
exist. That Pokemon looks like she's laying in a bed of herself. Like her big old tail, and then like her face. She was drawn so sexy.
Keith, did you want to fuck Ninetales?
I don't think I wanted to fuck Ninetales, but I recognized if I were to fuck any Pokemon, it would be Ninetales.
Yeah, it's a hot one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Let's Go came out, a little context. Let's Go came out, and it's like a hybrid of Pokemon Go and a regular Pokemon game. You fight normally, but the way you catch Pokemon is you do like a touch control, like motion control, throw a ball at them. So it's like, and it's like timed. It's boo. It's not fun. But now they're coming out with this new game that is for the Nintendo Switch, which is the first Pokemon game that is like a game where you're out in the world, you're catching Pokemon that's not Pokemon Stadium, that's on a legitimate console.
Yeah, so it's only been on Game Boys.
It's only been on Game Boys.
Switch is a Game Boy evolution.
But it's very powerful.
But it's also a actual console.
Exactly. So this new game, the premise is like, like any Pokemon game, but you're in this special new region, but it is open world. So you are like a third person character walking around, and the graphics are really, really good. You see Pokemon in the environment and you can walk up to them to initiate battle. But like, it's like you imagined as a kid where you're like, I want to be in a Pokemon game. You see all the Pokemon around you. They're like flying, they're crawling in the grass and stuff like that. One of the controversies, though, there's not all 758 Pokemon. There's only, I think, like 200 or maybe a little bit less.
Well, there's only supposed to be 150 in the
Exactly.
first game anyway. 200 is plenty. But which 200 are they?
So great question. So it's a mix. It's not every
boy.
Pokemon. There is like Pikachu's there, but then there's the new starters and there's a lot of new
The
Pokemon.
new starters. Have you seen the new starters?
They're very
They
cute.
look cute.
They're very
There's
cute.
a monkey.
There's the grass monkey. There's the water like tadpole one, and then the
Yeah.
fire bunny.
Fire Bunny is like Score Bunny.
Score bunny.
Looks really
Score
cool.
bunny's
What's
my
the
favorite.
water one?
He's like a
tadpole.
he's a
I'll pull him
depressed. He's a
he
sad.
looks
His it's actually his storyline. He's a depressed, sad tadpole lizard-like creature, but his power is to like cry.
This is what it looks like. He looks
Oh,
terrifying.
he's so cute. Do they have 4 evolutions?
No, I don't think
no, I
they
think
haven't
that's something
announced the
else.
evolutions
Okay.
yet.
No.
Here's something fun about the oldest Pokemon. I believe that who you chose, Charmander, Bulbasaur, or Squirtle, was actually easy, medium, hard.
Really?
I can't remember which order it is, but it was basically because no matter what, Gary, such a dick, chooses the one that will beat yours most easily. But I think the first gym you go to is rock type.
Yeah.
So if you start with water, that's easy. That's an easy gym to beat. If you start with grass, it's actually kind of like a little bit harder, but it's still easy. But fire, useless on rock. So I think starting with Charmander was supposedly the hard. Because the first couple gyms are harder, so you have to spend more time getting other Pokemon stronger so that you can even get past the first level. Now, of course, if you get stronger earlier on, it makes the game easier.
Right.
Yeah.
So
What was the last Pokemon game both of you played?
I was actually more of an anime kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I wasn't allowed to play video games as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I think I
so I
stopped
watched
at
like all the
Silver Gold.
animes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which the new one's kind of crazy. Have you guys seen the new version?
No,
Where
I
they're
feel
like
like I would like
animated
to.
really
Of
different.
Pokemon?
Yeah, it's
No.
like super goofy.
Is it super like I feel like the other one was like anime light. It like looked sort of like anime, but it was very Americanized. I've heard the new one is more
It's more
anime.
anime. Yeah, it's great. You should check it out. I don't know what's on,
cool.
but I've been watching some episodes online.
I haven't.
The animation style is like very kooky.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
they've continued the cartoon with the generations of the game just simultaneously with the different Pokemons.
Ash is
Yeah.
still like 13.
Wow.
I don't think he ever
No,
ages.
Ash went away. Isn't there a different dude?
No, still Ash.
Oh,
Can't get rid of Ash Ketchum.
That's crazy.
But
Yeah.
how-
He's 13.
They replaced people like Brock and Misty a lot.
He started
but
even younger. He starts
started
at like 9 or 10.
9 or 10. Yeah.
Oh,
He's
right.
a child.
If you let your 9 or 10-year-old leave your hometown,
Well,
to
there's
go,
no dad in the picture. So he doesn't have a lot of
Listen, remember,
guidance in that area.
you're familiar with manga or anime. There's usually like one parent, or they both get murdered in a horrific fashion,
Yeah.
or maybe there's just like no parents at all. And that's what you do when you're a teenage kid or preteen. You got to go on an adventure, kill demons or ghosts, or catch little monsters.
That's true.
That's what happens in Japan.
Yeah. It's good that Pokemon is one of the only RPGs that's not about the world ending. So every other RPG is like the world is ending and your hero has to make a quest and gather some friends and save the world. Pokemon's just you're a kid who wants to be the best and you have to go prove and beat everyone so you can be the best. Literally best, the best ever. And it's like it's a very selfish quest. Whereas all others are always like, you must light the 4 towers to save humanity from the evil Gorbar. And the Gorbar will come and he sends his minions to fight you. And you have to go through prisons and through
Right.
caves. But this is just, you have to go to a gym and beat Dave.
Dave is in the
Dave's
gym.
gonna give you a button, and then you can go to the next town.
Dave's a dick.
Dave's a total dick.
That's kind of why I think with Detective Pikachu,
Yeah.
great fun movie.
So good.
It's the one thing I was a little disappointed with is that, I think every movie, and maybe it's superhero fatigue, has to end with this threat of world destruction. Like every movie is like the world will literally end. And in this movie, you're going to watch at least 2 cities get decimated.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of thousands of people just gone because aliens or whatever.
Yeah.
And, I was like, in Pokemon, they literally could just do a movie of a dude like running around gyms, like beating people, fighting, like getting into it. And I would be all about it. They kind of did, but it was really more about, Mewtwo and the science experiments and all that shit. I mean, then they had to give us something with higher stakes, but I would have been down with watching him just like running away from Team Rocket.
Eugene, I never asked you this, but how did you feel about the ending of Detective Pikachu? Because I was bummed he didn't stay Pikachu. I was really bummed.
100%.
100%, yeah. I figured out halfway through the movie what the twist was, which I won't ruin it for people listening who haven't seen it. But I wanted I liked that was one of the most charming things about the film.
Right.
Was the comedic decision to make the voice of Pikachu Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. And like they just decided, I guess there's going to be no sequel because...
Right.
I think the sequel will be if they continue working as detectives, that they need to introduce Team Rocket as a shadowy crime syndicate.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a like Team Rocket backstory movie that starts with why they became evil.
Jesse and James?
Yeah, or like just in general, why it exists.
Oh,
like
for sure.
that they felt outcast from the world, that they were like subpar gym trainers, and everyone made fun of them. So they're like, you know what? Fuck you. We're gonna steal your Pokemon.
That's awesome.
So you can't beat us anymore. And I would like sort of like this Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, like a little bit of a backstory. We're on their side. I think there's such potential for a great Team Rocket. It can just be called Team Rocket.
Well, because they would be literally like Losers Club, basically. They're just like the people you're sympathetic to because they were pushed out by the popular kids who always win.
Yeah. And like it could start with them being kids and they're trying to be like Ash essentially, and they just suck.
And their parents get killed by a Rhydon.
And like they're gifted from their like Professor Oak like a fucking coughing and like a coughing. And like what is he smells awful. And then like the next thing they catch is like a muck. They only ever got garbage. All their Pokemon were awful.
Jesse had Ekans and Arbok, right?
Yeah.
And then James had the wheezing.
Coughing.
And of course Meowth.
Yeah,
the star of
that's
the
right.
show.
Meowth was dope.
There
Meowth
was
is dope.
that one episode that was like the Meowth backstory that's phenomenal. In like the first season of Pokemon.
Didn't in the first season though, wasn't the leader of Team Rocket who never saw his face?
Giovanni.
He had a Persian, right?
Yes.
Yeah, an evolved Meowth.
Yeah.
It was almost like a Dr. Claw character from
was,
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget, yeah.
You don't really see his face or whoever it is. You don't see their face. You just see them giving commands from space or from some tower. Like where I don't know where he is in.
That's what we need in the Detective Pikachu.
Wait, was Giovanni
sequel.
Red's dad?
I don't think so. Was he? You can double check.
Let me double check that.
I just always forget that Gary is Professor Oak's grandkid.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you watch the actual pilot of the Pokemon anime, Gary's like all up in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
Such a
significant
dick.
character. He's such a dick.
Such a dick.
But Ash is also a dick.
Yeah, but that's kind of I think a trait in. So I watch a lot of anime, and especially like the shonen ones that are geared towards young boys. That it's like fighting and action, male protagonist. Those protagonists are typically pretty like almost borderline insufferable. Like the boys are just so like, I think whiny might be the right word.
Yeah,
they're chosen,
entitled.
but they're so whiny and
very
entitled. My God, every shonen anime has like. I'm surprised when I watch one when the main character is tolerable. Yeah. I end up liking like the cool guy who's like quiet and weird.
Yeah, Ash from the beginning is like, I'm the best, and then he like loses like, I guess I'm not the best. And then he wins at the end. It's like, turns out I was the best. And then the voiceover, which is so funny at the end of every episode. If you haven't watched the first season of Pokemon, the voiceover at the end is always like, and so our heroes continued on as best as they could. Will they do better? That's to be determined. We'll see you next time.
But every other anime with a chosen one male lead is like, he thinks like, oh, wow, where did this power come from? And he goes, I don't think I can do it, but I'm going to train really hard. I'm going to train so hard to beat the villain. And the villain goes, ha ha ha, no one can ever beat me. He can never beat me. And then when they fight the first time, the protagonist like shows all his power. He's like, I can do it. I can make it happen. And the villain's like, impossible. He has so much power I've never seen.
Yeah.
It's literally every anime.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
Although apparently in the newer seasons, I haven't seen the new Pokemon seasons, but apparently Ash loses often in the tournaments.
Oh, that's nice.
That's like a new addition to the thing.
I mean, he lost in all of the episodes, but he just went back and fought again.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
And pretty much just would lose. It was like a Flavor of the Week cartoon where the villains were gym leaders and they found a new Pokemon. It was always like discover a new Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's confusing because the type is different. And then that always correlates to the gym in some way.
Yeah.
Either they have to catch that Pokemon so that they can go beat the gym, but like all of Ash's Pokemon hate him. Like
that's why Squirtle
they
bounced.
Like, don't like him.
Yeah.
Like Charmander is the one who kind of likes him because literally he saves Charmander's life.
right.
All the other Pokemon are like, Bulbasaur is so moody.
Maybe most Pokemon just hate their trainers, you know?
Of course
I
they
can't
do.
imagine living in that little ball.
Right. And also just only time you're let out is to fight.
Yeah. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Well, what was your other favorite cartoons? Or what are your
Okay.
favorite cartoons? This is what we're talking about.
I grew up without Disney Channel, without Cartoon Network until I was like
so sad.
mid-teens. So I only had Nickelodeon.
So you're big
But
Nicktoons.
I was fine with that because the Nicktoons were amazing. I was huge into Rugrats as a kid.
I know,
Loved
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And then my older generation before like SpongeBob, because that was like when I'm on the way out. So I watched the first couple seasons of SpongeBob, but I filtered out because I went to college. But I liked All Real Monsters a ton. It was so weird, so bizarre. I liked Angry Beavers. Okay, it wasn't my favorite, but I always watched it. Hey Arnold was amazing.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Early
Yeah.
Doug was great. What am I thinking that I really loved on Nicktoons? I was okay. Rocket Power was like fine. It was like fine, whatever. I'll watch this, I guess.
What about Wild Thornberries?
Wild Thornberries was very good, albeit annoying.
But mainly the dad.
Yes, the dad was great. I wasn't ever super enthralled with it, but I definitely watched every episode, but it wasn't my favorite. It was just in the sandwich.
Yeah, you're a
sandwich
big
in the block.
Rugrats kid.
Such a big Rugrats kid.
Yeah.
And I think
And you like Fairly Odd Parents.
I like Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah.
That's also like a little late. It's like when I'm a teenager and I'm still watching it. But we got eventually got Disney Channel and Cartoon Network, and then. But I because of that, I never watched Dexter's Laboratory. I never watched
That's so sad.
Powerpuff
Powerpuff
Girls.
Girls.
I didn't watch any of that, and it's just not
so good.
not something I watched.
And I feel like those were just Cartoon Network got away with just a little more like adult humor.
Yeah.
Other than
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy was
Stimpy's
fucking bonkers.
Crazy.
Ren and Stimpy was bonkers, very adult, and just
Almost like too adult. When you look back, there's some pretty gnarly. Like I remember one where they're removing teeth. Like in a close up,
yeah.
you see like the nerve endings coming out.
Yeah.
And I just thought as a kid, like, oh, this is cool and adult. But now as an adult, I'm like, oh, that's not fun to watch for anybody.
But the only thing was that SpongeBob was the only cartoon that carried on the grotesque close-up shots.
Oh, the one where they're like suddenly cuts into SpongeBob who's
Oh,
tired
yeah.
and he just has it's just like a perfectly illustrated like
disgusting. Well, Ren and Stimpy was the first in my memory to do exactly that. They would do the close punch-ins of like just disgust. Like if they're like, my teeth are gross. What do you mean? And it would be a close-up of the grossest teeth in a mouth. And like Flapjack did that a little bit. Some other cartoons did that, but very few. But SpongeBob, albeit super family friendly, did use the ultra grotesque close-up.
Yeah, those are really fun.
So, Keith, we're going to Australia soon,
Hell yeah, we are.
and we're going to need suitcases.
Hell yeah, we will.
Have you heard about Away?
Oh, have
Are
I
you
heard
all about that Away life?
Oh, I love the Away
Away
life.
creates thoughtful products designed to change how you see the world. They started with the perfect suitcase. We both have these suitcases. We love these suitcases.
It's unbelievable how good a suitcase can be.
I thought that a suitcase was just a suitcase, but
Right.
no, a suitcase can change your life. It's crafted with features that make travel more seamless. Now, they offer a range of essentials that solve real travel problems, so all you have to think about is where you're going next. And we're going to Melbourne, Sydney, and Singapore. So we're going to need a good suitcase because getting away means getting more out of every trip to come. Let me talk about these suitcases. Away knows that everyone has a different travel style. That's why they make their carry-on in an array of colors, 2 sizes, and 2 materials. It's this strong yet flexible polycarbonate and an anodized aluminum.
Aluminium
Anodized.
Aluminium in Australia.
They got 2 sizes, Keith. They got the carry-on, and they got one that's bigger. Guess what it's called? The bigger carry-on.
What?
Yeah, that's right. The carry-on, it's got an optional ejectable battery to keep your phone charged.
Love it.
Also, 4 360-degree spinner wheels guarantee a smooth ride.
Damn.
The suitcases, they're designed to last a lifetime. It's not just going to break on you in like 5 years. But if any part of your suitcase does break, Away's standout customer service team will arrange to have it fixed or replaced ASAP.
Wow.
And you get a 100-day trial on everything Away makes. You can return any non-personalized item for a full refund. No ifs, ands, or asterisks. It's great. We both love Away. We have Away suitcases. Let me tell you about a special offer so that you can get on board. For $20 off a suitcase, visit awaytravel.com/tryguys and use promo code TRYGUYS during checkout. For $20 off a suitcase, visit awaytravel.com/tryguys and use promo code TRYGUYS during checkout.
In late college, a cartoon that I had always been waiting to come out because I had watched the pilot on YouTube and I was always waiting for this cartoon to happen. I never thought it would. Adventure Time.
Oh, yeah.
Came out.
Adventure Time is amazing.
It is, if somehow you don't know about Adventure Time, it is an actual narrative, long story cartoon that still has all the excitement of a Flavor of the Week cartoon, but it has a crazy long storyline. Whatever happens in this episode happens in the universe. People, if something happens to a character, that almost always that character has that impairment in the following rest of the season.
Oh,
But
wow.
do you watch? I watch. So here's a big admission. I watch every cartoon.
Yeah.
I see everything that comes.
I know
that's
you watch a
animated.
lot.
So outside of Adventure Time, like in this new wave of like American animation, all of them have huge epic storylines.
Do they now?
Steven Universe, insanely
That's one I need to
involved.
watch. I
Yeah.
know that one. If I was still in that age of watching, because I was watching that, and I was watching Flapjack, and I was watching that weird one where it's like it's a cat that eats a lot, but it was interesting. The visual, like he had a pattern on his shirt, and when he moved around the pattern, it was almost as if it was like a magnifying glass moving across the paper. Like I can't remember what it was called. It was like this fat cat, but it didn't look very catty.
Is this current? This is
No, it was the same time as Flapjack, and he.
But what you got to be watching right now is
You're only gonna get Pusheen.
Yeah, Steven Universe.
So Cartoon Network, and put 2009, 2008, somewhere in there. He was a hungry little guy.
That cat, Cartoon Network, shirt, cartoon.
But if we're talking about Adventure Time,
Hungry cat.
if we're talking about Adventure Time in the current era of animation, you have to watch Star vs. the Force is Evil. You should watch Steven Universe. There's a new Cartoon Network show that came on called Infinity Train, which
Miles
is amazing.
is over here. I gotta interrupt you because Miles over here typing in a hungry cat cartoon as if there's only gonna be 5 to filter through every single cat. I know I'm giving you bad.
Yeah, you're giving me bad intel.
Just do Google image search Cartoon Network 2008 cat.
All right, Cartoon Network 2008 cat. Tom and Jerry is popping
No.
up.
Go to image search.
Okay, go into image search.
Did you watch Gravity Falls at least?
Cat Scratch?
Yes.
Okay.
Gravity Falls was
Gravity Falls is
amazing.
incredible.
Cat Scratch?
This one.
This one.
Click it.
We rank.
Click it.
What?
Figure it out. I don't know which one it is. Click it.
Is this important? Is this a good cartoon?
No, but I
Chowder?
Chowder.
Chowder.
It
Oh.
was an okay cartoon.
You just wanted to find out what the name
I
of
just
it was.
couldn't remember. I've been trying to remember the name of this cartoon for years, to be honest.
But essentially what Pendleton Ward did with with Adventure Time was he launched what we call like this new American animation renaissance, which it's very simple animation. All of it's extremely simple, but they go into like hugely epic storylines with a lot of like touches that are kind of like, I don't know, they're very meta, but also very wacky at the same time. And almost like there's a lot of music involved in these cartoons.
Music is great.
Yeah, but if you check out a lot of the current ones that are running for a while, and Netflix right now is having sort of a really cool like pickup of adaptations that are geared towards younger audiences of like old properties. Like She-Ra is really good. They had Voltron that was pretty good.
Right.
Very queer. All of these cartoons are very gay.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so gay, which is great. But they like literally are what people are going to look back on with entertainment these days is that they're going to look at a lot of these animations, including things like, I mean, Adventure Time had Bubblegum and Marceline in the end, Kiss. Like they are giving these queer relationships in these kids shows
that's great.
and doing it very effortlessly. They're just like putting it in there. And I mean, if you watch something like She-Ra, there are like literally just full on lesbians everywhere. It is just like lesbians. It's so good.
That's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's like, I think where the revolution starts is
One-
these kids shows.
Yeah.
One thing I loved about Adventure Time was that Finn's songs were bad. He was not a good singer.
Oh, but it was more about the charm. of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so often in cartoons, everybody, like, if it bursts into song, the song is like really good. And like when kids sing songs, they don't make sense and they're not very good and they aren't very good at singing, but they gave it the same like oomph and like the music underneath it was good, but his singing was not. And like the songs were not amazing, but they were really charming because they sounded like songs that 11-year-olds would write.
And like really sincere.
Sincere. And like Marceline's songs too, like they were better than Finn's, but they were still like ultra simple.
Yeah. You know, the
Oh,
girl
Marceline.
who voices Marceline is the girl that the little boy has a crush on in Love Actually.
Really?
Mhm. Same actress.
That song, oh Marceline, why are you so mean? I'm not mean. I'm just someone that's attached to my like video screen. It's like very simple, but then there's Bacon Pancakes, incredible song by Jake.
And Marceline had the "Daddy, why did you eat my fries?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so good. I think it's just supposed to like really appeal to kids, but there's a sentimentality. I think there's the guise of being so simple, and then sometimes it'll just hit you right in the gut because they'll be about something really serious.
Oh, yeah.
You would love Steven Universe because there's so much singing in that.
I know.
Yeah.
Becky doesn't like cartoons.
What about adult
Yeah.
cartoons like Bob's
doesn't-
Burgers or
she-
Archer?
She was okay watching the hormone one.
Oh,
on
Oh,
Netflix.
Big Mouth.
Big Mouth.
Phenomenal
Yeah.
cartoon.
Didn't like it at first, and then I got real into it.
I love
Same.
it.
Yeah, but
First
Bob's,
episode is so gross.
I'd say that I Bob's Burgers is the one I can get most people onto. I mean, because like BoJack Horseman is kind of like super adult, so some people aren't into that if they don't want to see that type of storyline. But Bob's Burgers is so funny.
Yeah, I mean, I did love all the late night cartoons in high school because you have the Adult Swim, which was great because it was like, oh, you can have cartoons that are meant for adults entirely. In like the oldest stuff was like Space Ghost and like that.
And like
Oh, yeah.
home
C-Lab
movies,
20
home movies is which the creator of Bob's Burgers did first.
Right? Yeah. You have C-Lab. You had Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah,
That
what
was
happened to that show?
Crazy.
It was a crazy.
Yeah.
I liked that show, but it was so
crazy.
murder heavy. It's a
That's
lot
just,
of
like,
murder.
Really adult too.
Yeah.
Like,
really a lot of blood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
A lot
then
of
that's
blood.
also where I first got exposed to Cowboy Bebop,
yeah.
which
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
that
was,
was on there,
that's fair.
too.
a lot of Westerners' first exposure to anime, and a great one because Cowboy Bebop is dope.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which they're adapting to a live action film.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Adult
John
Swim
Cho.
is-
John Cho's playing Spike Spiegel.
Oh wow, very
yeah.
cool. Adult Swim is like such an interesting, like it's such a good idea. Just being like, oh, we're a Cartoon Network. People kids don't watch cartoons at night. Let's just do like adult programming.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Like, and they do all this live action stuff too. It's brilliant.
Well, speaking of music,
All absurd.
we have to return to your question at the beginning.
Yes.
Because we're talking about music as well. The last musical I saw, I had a season pass for a whole year to the Pantages Theater here in LA.
Oh, yeah,
So the last one I saw was like 6 musicals back to back, one of which was An American in Paris.
Never
the,
seen it.
The Whitney Houston musical. Hamilton
Right.
came
Right.
through. The An American in Paris, if you haven't seen it, is gorgeous, but it is a dance musical, which is so rare these days. Not on stage, but in movies. They've stopped putting dance in musicals, and it's really depressing. Like, think about the last time you've seen a full ballet number
Right.
occur. I think it's died out because we've kind of leaned into things like biopics.
Yeah.
Dancers are sort of like undervalued.
You
unless
mean
it's
in
like
the
a
movies, you
dance
think?
movie.
In
In
the
a
movie-
movie musical.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm kind of excited about Cats.
You know, I say the one that did was Aladdin, even though it was like an adaptation. That they had a lot of great dance in that. Albeit not every song gets to dance, but the Prince Ali song was.
A full dance number.
I think I preferred that to the cartoon because it was magical to see that many people in this parade. Like so many, it was so colorful. It was so much like Bollywood and other like fun dancing. It was just so cool.
Yeah. What was your favorite musical growing up?
Growing up, the first musical I ever saw was 1776, which is not
Really?
the best musical in the world, but I still really enjoyed it. And I was like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
You can sing the whole show.
Yeah.
That's weird. I've never thought of that. And then the second one I saw was Phantom of the Opera.
That was the first
and
one I
was
saw.
This is
Yeah.
awesome. There's a demon guy, and is he
singing
good or is he
super
bad?
fucking high.
I pity him, but then
There's a
maybe I
big-ass
don't.
chandelier
maybe I
falling down.
don't pity him.
Maybe not.
And then I saw Les Miserables, and I was like, well, that's the best one ever. And then I didn't see a lot because we lived in Tennessee, and we had a performing arts center, but they only came through so often. Only like the shows that I would get. And then I saw Wicked in high school when the buzz was happening. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. But I still didn't think it was better than Les Mis. But I thought it was super cool. And I was excited that like other teenagers were excited about a musical. And it kind of had that same Harry Potter excitement. It was just like a classic story remade in a really fun way. Really fun, upbeat songs. A lot of like high school angst was represented, like the whole like roommate situation that they're not friends and they don't like each other. I thought it was a good musical for high schoolers and college kids to like because it's about what you're dealing with. It's like feeling like an odd duck and not having any opportunities.
Mine was Rent in high school because it was huge and it was one of the first albums I bought from a musical because it talked about a lot of things that I was feeling and it talked about the AIDS crisis and the queer community, but also the music's dope in it. I know you don't like that one song.
I don't like the one song. All the other songs I think are great. My problem was in my high school, we had a high school chorus. It was not choir. It knew it couldn't be called choir. It wasn't choir. It was chorus. And it was basically you had to have an art credit in high school. That's the one everyone took. So it was full of people who were really not interested in any kind of art whatsoever. And the singing was everyone saying unison. No harmony.
What?
I'm telling you, it was
So that's
a
not
nightmare.
really choir.
So I told you it's a chorus. It's not a choir. And they every year sang two songs. Always. No matter what concert it was. There were other songs too, but they always sang the 525
Seasons of Love.
Seasons of Love.
Yeah.
They sang it terribly. And they also sang Your Song by Elton John.
No, why would they ruin
ruined-
both of those songs?
It took me forever to like that song again.
Why would they ruin those two songs?
Because they were easy songs to sing, and because you can sing that Seasons of Love with and damn it, and damn it, and damn it, and damn it.
But how do they do the solo parts, which are like clearly designed for Broadway singers?
There were a few people who could sing, right?
Oh.
And the people who could sing, obviously, the only option for them was.
Wait, were you in
chorus.
choir?
No.
Oh,
not
I was in
there.
choir for 5 years.
No, I was in band.
Yeah, and I
you
was in band for 5 years.
You could do both, but like nobody did. I was in band, and then when I went to Illinois, I was in a really, really good band, and we had choirs. And I didn't do choir because I was in too high level of band. I didn't have time, but I was like, oh my God, a choir that sounds good. How fun. And there was even a time like I got to play in the orchestra because the way that it worked is the top, there was an orchestra, just the strings. Is that a symphony? Is that which one?
Orchestra has strings.
Orchestra's just strings. Symphony has both. Has brass as well, right?
No,
Symphony orchestra.
A band is something without strings.
Yes, a band is without strings, or a wind ensemble.
Yeah.
Then you have an orchestra, and you have a symphonic orchestra, which I think is when you add in brass, right? Because you can have but whatever. So they had the only strings thing, and they had 3 levels of that. They had 5 levels of band, and they had 7 levels of choir. That means so at one of the concerts, the top brass and wind players played with the top string players, played with the top choir, and it was like a professional group of musicians because everyone's playing incredibly difficult literature. And we did this and I was like, wow, this is what I've always wanted as my experience of playing music, is to have every player. And it was like so good that, in high school, like, oh, you got 3 trumpets playing a trumpet 1 part, 4 trumpets playing the trumpet 2 part. No, you have 1 trumpet playing the trumpet 1 part. You have 1 trumpet playing the trumpet 2 part. You have 1 French horn playing the trumpet, like the French horn 3 part. Like it was 1. So only 1 person is playing a specific thing in this whole like 90 person group.
That's very
so
cool.
it was.
Well,
amazing.
I think because you had a really small high school before that, right?
Yeah,
So my high school, even though we always were fighting for arts funding, had over 2,000 kids. So we had a big choir, a big theater,
And Texas-
a big band. And Texas is really serious about. I was always doing intramural competitions every year. So I was going for choir, I was going for theater, and I was going for band.
Illinois and Texas
Yeah.
are 2 of the best states for public school arts.
Yeah.
Music specifically.
I was like at school until about 9 p.m. every day because I would be doing the choir shows, then the theater shows, and the band rehearsals. Yeah, because I was an oboe player. And then I quit oboe after all in middle school, and then after freshman year of high school, I quit because I didn't want to do marching band because you had to wake up at 4 a.m. to
Marching
rehearse.
band blows.
It's crazy. And also Texas, we're
awesome.
huge football culture. So they're even more crazy about marching band.
Marching band is so much fun in the
It
performances.
looks really fun.
In the performances, it's incredible. You are literally playing for the biggest audiences you're ever going to play for in high school.
Yeah.
You're paying for, 400 to 1,000 people, and you're traveling to other cities. And what's great is that in the South, everyone loves the marching bands from both schools. So like in the halftime, you love both shows. It doesn't matter. And oftentimes we would go as we were like known as a good high school marching band. So we went to other schools. Like obviously everyone's aggressive in the football game, but like you play for the home crowd. So you play facing the home crowd, and they would go nuts for us. And they even knew coming like, oh, there's good. The Smith County High School band is going to play. Like, oh, fuck, they're a good marching band. And like, it was cool because you play for the opponent's fans, and they would go crazy for you. And then their own band sucked, and they didn't go crazy for them. So like every night it was awesome because you're playing for a new audience.
Right.
You're doing a cool show. We did like our shows were always themed, and we had like we never did the crazy schools that have like a stage. Have you ever seen those? Did you ever go to a marching band competition? I guess you didn't. But
Yeah, I had to. My older sister was in marching.
and-
Both of my sisters were in marching
do you ever go to
band.
somewhere they literally bring out a stage and they're doing almost a theatrical show on the field?
Well, they had a lot of stuff
that's
because
awesome.
Yeah,
It's awesome, but it's also like, boo, you don't respect the art. Fuck you. What's a stage? A stage.
yeah, we had a really intense football culture. So anyone who was involved in anything had to go to the Friday night football games.
Of course, that's the only
Because
thing you can do.
So choir, drill team, dance team, color guard, band, and we had a huge school. So it was like everyone was there on Friday night. So we had to sing the national anthem, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I was like really crazy art kid, and we did tons of. Were you in theater? Mm-hmm. So
In the Illinois school, yes.
yeah, so I did 4 years of theater, which was crazy. So we had
great.
So it was great. It was
How many
like
plays a year do you do?
3. So you do a fall show, a spring musical, and then a one act UIL competition, which is you battle other schools with a one act.
Yeah, we had
Really
5
funny
shows,
ones. Yeah.
which was crazy. They had a children's fall play, and the way it was always going to be like a storybook play, and they let one of the community theater's kids be in it. So we did Wizard of Oz, and the kids were the Munchkins. But there was also a serious fall play. So like the serious actors, which are mostly like everyone wanted to be in the children's musical because it's the big one. The other one was good too, but it was like. Where we would do this, they would do Fences. Like totally different show. And then there was a winter play, which is also a more serious show. And then there was a freshman play, which is one of the spring things, and then the spring musical. So they had 5 shows.
That's
a
a
year.
lot of
But what's
shows.
cool is that the seniors directed and produced the freshman play.
Oh, very
and I
cool.
came in only as a senior. Got to be the scarecrow in the kids show. Got to be no one's gonna know this. There's a show called The Diviners. Do you know that one? No. It's a play about like a southern town, and there's a kid who is autistic, and he also believes he's afraid of water. I was this character who's the main lead, who's like an ex-preacher who's traveling through very weird religious tones. Ultimately, the kid drowns because everyone's fighting with each other about religion that they don't notice the kid drowning in the water. It's very sad.
Jesus.
It's
There's always some very serious
intense,
plays you
but
do
it
in
was
high
like
school.
the only serious play I've ever been in. Like it's a serious show. And then we did Damn Yankees, and I was the devil,
Oh.
which was awesome. Applegate. It was so cool. I got a full theatrical experience in 1 year.
Yeah.
I have such good stories. I could
Yeah.
talk about.
What's your best one? Like, and that'll round us out because we're running out of time.
I played a lot of roles, and I actually was a lot of time the lead, which is awesome. Although I was Get Smart once, and they thought the song Secret Agent Man, the audience thought they changed it to Secret Asian Man, just because I'm Asian. Texas. But
Nation of Chaos.
two of the funniest things I did was when choir has an end of the year show as well, where you do basically like a variety show of whatever musical number you want.
Yeah.
And then 2 years I got in trouble because I chose, directed, choreographed, and performed. One of them was the Dance of the Robe from Aida, which is essentially a slave rebellion dance that I had like 16 of my friends. Literally, I designed like the tiniest strips because they're like in rags essentially, and choreographed something that later the teacher said was like the devil's work. And then the next year, my senior year, I did Cell Block Tango.
Yeah.
Which they told me many times, don't make it sexual. Cut out all the sexual stuff. You can't say you screw in the milkman. You say, I was seeing the milkman. So my friend had to say, seeing the milkman. But I choreographed it. And the one thing they said not to do is the spread eagle. Because Velma Kelly says the spread eagle when she catches Charlie, her ex-husband, and her sister.
Right.
And if you remember in the film, boom, they do a spread eagle, which looks like a 69. She said, don't do that. And I made them do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
I got in so much trouble.
You were just trying to honor the art.
But it's so crazy because now you hear about high schools doing things like Rent or Spring Awakening.
Whoa,
They're
yeah.
doing like modern like shows with a lot of heft. Maybe kids are getting more talented, or maybe because like high schools are getting more liberal. I don't know. But the idea of doing something like Spring Awakening
There's boobs in that.
in my high school.
Also, if you ever are invited to see the show Spring's Awakening, it's the play that Spring Awakening is based off of.
Yeah.
It is even more intense. I advise you not to see it. It's the same, but more.
It's not a musical, right?
It's not a musical. It's a play, which makes it much more intense because it's not decorated with music.
Nope.
It is intense.
Yeah.
Wait, there's that new Disney Plus show about that Kristen Bell is doing where she brings back an entire high school cast of a musical and they redo it even though they're not professional musical
awesome.
people. So they
So cool.
redo the musical.
Oh,
they're doing,
that's
Which of course
brilliant.
Disney probably owns half the musicals in the
Adorable.
universe.
One thing I want to put out in the universe, I want to do a like YouTube premium product called YouTube Band. And it's every
Yes.
famous YouTuber
Who can play an instrument.
and even mid-tier YouTuber who knows how to play an instrument, and we get together for like a music symposium and we spend a week workshopping and do a concert, and everyone relearns their instrument to the best of their ability, and we put on a full just normal high school band concert.
What if we did
That's
that?
awesome.
We should do that and then maybe make it like a small miniseries or big miniseries
that's what I'm saying. I
where
think
it's
it's-
different arts from this high
I think
school,
it'd be
right?
such a good like
Yeah.
Because there have to be a lot of music theater kids.
Yeah,
who
of course.
do
It's sort of the
musical.
same idea. It's just like we all used to have this other creative outlet. Wouldn't it be great to go back to your first creative outlet and really dive into it with the seriousness that you approach your current creative outlet with, and see if we... Because what I remember as a kid, and this will be our landing thing, is that my band director said, you can learn to play football, but eventually your body, you can't play football. You can learn to play an instrument. You can always play an instrument.
That's very cool.
Like,
Unless your mouth falls off.
unless your mouth falls out. I'm sure certainly accidents can happen that make you not be able to. But like the knowledge of music never really goes away. Like understanding how you play your instrument is something, if you play it for a few years, it never goes away. Like you still know how to do at least a basic scale.
Yeah.
You still know how to make a buzzing sound. You still like
Or at least
you're not
music,
going to be in
understanding music theory.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like when, similar to an athlete, say, for example, when I do something in like a kickboxing class, the instructor immediately says, you were trained in Taekwondo based on my hip placement. When I do something in dance, they'll be like, oh, you used to be a martial artist. You know, so it's very interesting. So I think when you are around someone who can like read music or harmonize immediately, you just know, you were at some point in your life taught basic music theory.
Yeah. I think the idea to do any like art form, musicals, band, like debate club with YouTubers
God.
now,
Debate club.
like getting those people to
Well,
go
our
back
dream
and
is to
that
do,
stuff.
well, I don't know if we say here, but we always wanted
yeah.
to do a spelling bee.
Yeah.
We're working on it. Well, a lot of
working
great
on it,
ideas.
yeah.
You know, maybe you're in high school and you're deciding if you want to join the band or join the theater club or join the chess club and you just don't know and you need some advice. Well, lucky for you, in this podcast, we have an amazing segment where we let the least experienced and the youngest of us give you some sage wisdom. We have a segment called advice that'll go for miles with Miles
Bonsignore.
What's up, My Little Ponies?
Bonsignore.
Oh, I also watched that.
My Little Pony?
I'll watch anything animated. I've watched every episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Are you
Crazy.
fucking kidding me?
Crazy.
Pinkie
we gotta
Pie
stay on
and
focus. We gotta
Fluttershy
stay on
are the
track.
best
What's the
characters.
advice? What's the advice?
Do you want to live as long as a rock?
They're never technically, are they alive?
Yeah, you could let him go.
Do you want the spunk of a Pikachu or a Raichu and the sexual everlasting stamina of Stanley Tucci? Get an external battery
For what? Your phone?
for whatever the fuck you want. I've got an external battery. It's got solar power also, which is an added bonus, but I can play my Nintendo Switch forever. I can charge my phone forever. If my headphones go out, I can charge that. I can charge pretty much freaking whatever I want. My MacBook Pro, charged, everything. But I don't have to worry about trying to find an outlet. Even if I'm in a coffee shop or something like that, and I'm like, I could plug in my phone to the wall, but then I'm somehow obligated to sit near the wall. I don't want to do that. I want to sit in the freaking middle of the ground.
That's good advice, Miles.
Yeah, I want to plug in my phone.
Do your phones die in the day?
Yes.
They used
Is it because
to.
you use them so much?
No.
Because Zach's
maybe.
phone is always near death.
Yeah.
Because he uses it all the time.
But he charges it at night, right?
I think it's both.
Some people I don't think are like Becky's not one who will like put her phone in the charger at night. I'm like, why not?
Really?
You're gonna sleep.
That's crazy.
I
to
charge
me.
it.
do
I
that.
literally
I charge it
walk
at night
over
every
and
night.
plug her phone in because she'll be like, "I'll charge it tomorrow. I'm not
No.
going anywhere." And then we're like, "No, you might though.
Yeah, right.
Why not? Just charge it."
I think that this is my theory, if you charge your phone overnight, which everyone should, your phone should not die from usage for a whole day.
It should at least make.
That
it
means
till
you're on
7
your
p.m.
phone too long.
It lasts me about until the end. But if I'm like using Google Maps a lot for work or something, it'll die.
yeah.
Or if I'm like shooting videos on it, because I shoot.
Yeah.
I only use my phone in 4K just so it's like because it's the only setting that has 24 frames per second on the phone. You have to shoot in 4K to match it with our other cameras here. So I'm just constantly running out of battery because I'm using like the maximum video potential of
but for the
camera.
average person.
Yes, for the average person, you should totally.
I
make
can
it
imagine
till-
kids probably running out because I think kids are probably always on their phone.
Yeah.
But they probably carry their external batteries in their backpacks. It's just the place I see most people bring it is like if you're out for a day trip at a festival or like a carnival or something, or at a club.
Yeah.
People bring them out in their purses. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
great.
I think it's smart to maybe just carry it on your person, right?
Mine is small enough that I can keep it in my pocket next to my phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what I'm waiting for? A really small or really flat external battery.
Yeah. It's a little bit. It's
Right
about the
now
size of my
they're
phone.
like the size of a phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's too big.
And like, it's huge.
Yeah, it's big.
I need them to figure out whatever titanium alloy or bullshit quantum lead, maybe not lead, whatever they need to give me electricity in a little button I
Yeah.
want. Basically, I want it to be a USB port
Yeah.
that is has the capacity of a brick battery.
Yeah.
You
for
know,
sure.
bringing this full circle, I bet if you had an electric type Pokemon like Pikachu,
Yes.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
could just charge it with their butts.
They do charge in the show. They do charge their electronics, the Pikachu. Sometimes.
Yeah.
I remember that being a thing.
I feel like there's a great like DeviantArt image of like a Pikachu with a USB charger up his butt.
Well, now there will be.
Gross. I think there's just one of him like holding onto a car battery going,
Wow, that really brings the electric type into modern light.
I
You
mean-
know, everyone would be like, I want an electric type.
yeah, I think they all
Everything
have
will be
great
charged.
uses, right? Squirtles would put out fires. Charmanders would
Start fires.
Well, that has been an incredible podcast. If you made it all the way to the end, we love you. We appreciate you. If you want more content, check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/tryguys. We got all sorts of great content there. Some cool additional stuff you can always sink your teeth into. Miles, did you just kiss the...
Yeah, I give
Okay.
the camera a little kiss.
And, you know, maybe you'll get some daring duo tripods in the future. I'm sure Ned and Zach will go next and talk a lot about fantasy football.
Yeah. Check out our YouTube channel for the TryPod if you listen to this elsewhere. If you listen to this on YouTube, you can also find it anywhere podcasts are listened to. We also have a normal Try Guys YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/TryGuys, and TryGuys.com for all of the merch you could ever want to decorate your little pretty body with. Until next time, Keith, hit us with that TryPod theme song. Cheers! The tripod.
Until next time, stay beautiful.
Oh, I thought we could avoid doing that this time as Ned's not here.